Welcome back. If you missed the last game, well, my condolences. That's all I can say. I mean, I'm sweating after that one. Reality TV, the upset 7-5 over Astralis, but I'm sure if you asked Mr. B, that wasn't an upset at all. Now we move on to yet another T1 versus T2 matchup. Arial Arise up against OXG.
Yeah, it's an interesting one as well. A little bit different in the presentation from what we saw in the last match, because Astralis was coming in at a 7-5, just like Reality TV. This is not the same. Oxygen went 7-2 in their first victory over HK Rebels. There's no problem at all. And then I believe Arial Arise went 7-1 in their first match over EQV4. So yeah, the only round they lost, by the way, if you're wondering, it was like a hatch drop. Everybody rushed through laundry. So it was a meme. I mean, it was a joke. They just got cut apart. But it's, again, two teams that performed really, really well. I think the biggest thing here, though, is Newers and Foxay, who are the two players from Oxygen, were just on fire. But we'll get to them, I think, when we talk about rosters.
Yeah, and speaking about the first roster, Arial Arise, who had that 7-1 victory. These guys were the Challenger League, not winners, runners up to Reality TV. In fact, they were the only team to take a map off of them in the grand finals. Freak and Quartz, though, the only two returning players. Psychosis, Tra, and Slothy, all new, but all beasts in their own right.
I think the interesting thing about their kind of hardcore win that they had was that the kill distribution was incredibly even. It was 7-6-6, and then Quartz had the standout 10. So, I mean, it was really well done. We can talk about Quartz a little bit right here and get an idea. I was just going to say his rating at the end, 1.83,
no entries.
10-2 overall. I mean, a crazy performance, frankly, an 88% cost and a 70% headshot rating. That means 7 out of his 10 kills are off of headshots. So could not ask for much better out of a player in kind of a stomp of a win than what you got from Quartz the other day.
And I think the other thing to highlight too is, especially as your HIB player, Quartz has taken a little bit of a back seat from his old role on Arial. He was very aggressive before, but now I think it's who plays the entry? I think Tra and Psychosis, I think, are the main entry now, and then Freak, gets in here and there. But Quartz taking more of a back seat, 10-2 with 0 entry engagements. I mean, that's perfect. That's perfect from your hard support. Not getting in fights early, but still able to clean up the round and do his job. And we're going to look at their opponents, and I'll tell you why I'm a little bit worried for Arial in a second. So we'll look at OXG. Again, all familiar faces, no roster moves coming out from Station. In fact, the only one of the 3 NAL teams who haven't made a roster move, Newers, Dream, Foxay, Vertical, and Sweater. And you can see that rating, 1.32. They kind of trounced HK Rebels. Like, HK won one attack on the attack, and or one attack on the attack, 1 round on the attack, and 1 round on the defense. And other than that, OXG were simply in control on Bank the entire time, with the standout player being who else, right? It's Newers. Highest rated player, I think, in the NAL this past stage. I mean, he's been up there every single stage since joining, 12-3, which is actually a better KD than Quartz, I think. No, sorry, not better KD. Better KD differential than Quartz. Entry, he was 2-0 because he does his job. Of course, Iana and Alibi. This is a guy that you have to fear. Not that anyone on Arial Rise is a slouch, but the consistency we've seen from Newers in the NAL as a primary entry is scary.
And I think one of the most entertaining things about the way Oxygen played this, first of all, their 2 entry fraggers, it was Newers and Foxay, who were just slick, right? I think it was a +2 and a +3 opening kill differential for both of them. They were just in command. They got so much movement into the map before they were even detected. It was crazy to watch. And on the back end of it, I think Oxygen just played with such a sense of confidence. I mean, it was really impeccable. You could feel it oozing off the screen. They just were in command. They knew what they had to do. And that's one of the, again, big challenges for the T2 teams, is how do you kind of match that level of play play where they just look like they're in command the entire time. I mean, we saw reality TV do it. It wasn't necessarily a complete role reversal. It was scrappy, but they just pulled it off. And you look over on the side of Arial Arise and you think, okay, well, now it's your turn to show us if you have that kind of gumption as well, that you can match a team as confident as this.
And I think the map is going to play a really big role into who comes out on top here between these two teams. They do play, I would argue, very different styles, with OXG typically quick and fierce with people like Newers, Sweater, Foxay moving to the map, whereas Arial Arise have always been a more methodical team. Cafe and Clubhouse off the board quickly, along with Oregon and Border. So no Club or Oregon. Happy about that. No Villa either. Let me going to an interesting map. We're left with Sky, Chalet, and Bank. Hoping we don't see Bank again, especially because I know Arial Arise does their homework, and OXG will ban that out themselves. They have the choice between Bank and Chalet, and we go to Chalet. And I'm not sure about you, Corbeck, but I originally voted Arial Arise just because, you know, underdog, my T2 babies. This makes me a little bit worried. This map in particular. I'm the odd man out. All right.
You're the only one. I nearly joined you.
John was not sticking with me in solidarity like he did last map. That's okay.
I nearly joined you this morning. I was nearly like, oh, I gotta get in there. But I stuck with Oxygen. And one of the interesting things about the two games that they played, they were very preponderantly attacking rounds. They both played a lot of attack and not a lot of defense. And that, I think, has given us maybe a bit of a skewed perception in terms of this tournament and how they're going to play on the defensive side. You saw Arial Arise was starting on the defense. That, however, I don't think necessarily confers a significant advantage to you on Chalet, as far as I'm aware. And we obviously don't have the stats to build out from SAS, but I see what you mean about being a little bit nervous. I think that this is a map where competent attackers can really run away with things, and it puts defenders in a really difficult position. And there are some bomb sites in particular on this map. I think about Master Bedroom and Office in particular. If you get caught up there and you get caught up out there as a defender, you'll just get shredded. I mean, that's just what's going to happen. So yeah, the worry is palpable, let's say.
The other worry I have is for a very specific reason. So Chalet, similarly to Villa, is a very split map, right? You have two distinct halves. The basement is more, one unit, but when you have the other two floors, you have library, bar games, and then chimney, and that's one side of the map. Then you have the Ivy Hall, L separating the other two sides, which is master, solar, bathroom, piano, that section upstairs, and then dining, kitchen, trophy, west main. It's not similar to Villa, though, in the fact that, it's like half the size of the map. You can't just, you can still skate around, but there's so little map control that you need to take on Chalet, conversely to Villa. And OXG's clears were incredible against HK Rebels. I mean, right, like you said, right, we didn't get to see a lot of defense, but I think OXG's attacks looked stronger. OXG were taking into Bank a really big map with a lot of confidence and a great display of gun skill. I mean, HK Rebels, a lot of times on those entries, would either just fall flat or get one and immediately get traded back.
Yeah, and the cutoffs are brutal here on Chalet as well. Like you mentioned, because the map is split in half like that, you see so much conflict over that library corridor for a reason. Right, and it's because if who takes that has a real key tool that they can use in the map to really shift it their way. But let's start looking at our bans here. Arial Arise coming out with a Nook ban. I don't think there's any surprise there. A Dokkaebi ban coming on the other side from Oxygen. That's an interesting choice, but one that I would say is not entirely surprising. We've seen a fair amount of Dokkaebi so far in the SCS playdays, and she's proved herself to be quite an effective operator. Valkyrie getting taken off the board shouldn't surprise anyone, Crow. I mean, she's top ban in a lot of areas for a reason. So good on the intel game and just so effective in general. And then Azami getting taken off as well. I think that's barring maybe the Dokkaebi, a fairly standard ban phase here for what I have seen of Chalet in the past. Yeah,
pretty standard. I mean, you can't really expect much else. Also, I'm surprised I'm still here because I think my power just flickered.
No, you're still.
But I'm still.
You're still alive to me.
I am. I'm moving on the camera in vMix. So I'm assuming the stream can still hear me, and Ferme hasn't yelled at me yet, so all good. You know what else I just thought of, too? That also, again, makes me a little bit worried for Arial?
Sure.
The way in which they won their attacks. So this kind of goes back to the point of OXG being so competent and fierce and confident on their entries. Arial Arise, there were a not insignificant amount of times where they get caught off guard by EQV4's roam, specifically Duke. A lot of the rounds they won on attack were down to a good recovery. And with EQV4 being a pug stack, I don't know if OXG are going to give them the opportunities to recover if they get that early lead like EQV4 did. Of course, we have to wait till we see OXG's defense. First, they're going to start on the attack, the side we know the most about, thanks to that last game. Arial Arise, strangely enough, starting with the least popular site on this map, Master Bedroom. You know, not a lot of teams are fans of this anymore, but they have a lot of map presence. And a kill.
Wow. Well, that's a way to make a statement. We were hyping up those entry players there, and Fox is dead almost instantaneously. But I don't know. I'm sweating a little bit on Master Bedroom, and it's not just because I'm wearing flannel, but I just don't like this bomb site, and I think it's one of the ones that can go so bad so quickly. But Newers here is the one who's pushing in for the library. Hello, Freak. Finds a kill onto Dream. And this is a bad start for Oxygen. That's okay. Newers is here to try and make up the balance with a beautiful kill coming in off Library. And there's Vertical as well.
What just
gets a TK. Oh no, it was looking so good.
Yeah, what just happened to the defense? I was going to talk about how, a lot of people don't like this bomb site because the piano window is such a brutal cutoff. Once the attackers have library control and get that office wall open, it's so hard. And I was going to talk about how, you mend that with a really good library hold like we just saw from Arial. Take out the hard breach. They can't open the wall anymore. And then they just overpeaked and died. Freak got 2 kills. You don't need to be there anymore. And, I mean, maybe Tron Court just got caught in a rotate. I mean, Slothy's going to get 1. Can he res? He's going to go for it. No, the bars blocked it. No, the bars blocked it again. There's a hitbox. But you guys got to be careful. There's someone just around the corner. I think it's Vertical, and Slothy's going to win the fight. He downs the Lion. Here comes Newers trying to get the cleanup. We know how fearsome he is, and he wins the fight. Oxygen recover again. Arial Arise. They had such a great start, and they throw it away.
That was like watching somebody build a really nice sandcastle, and then a big old wave just comes in and absolutely wrecks it. It just destroys the thing. And I don't understand. It's one of those rounds where something weird obviously happened, and I don't think I can't follow it. My Siege brain is not as big and wrinkly as yours, Crow, so I couldn't follow it. But that team kill, it's just a mess. You'd have to go back and look at it kind of piece by piece, but that's unfortunate for Arial Arise. Yeah. The good takeaway right there is that, you put up a pretty good start to that round. You at least shut down one of these roamers, but who else but Newers, right? At the end of the day is going to be the last man standing hunting you. I mean, that's like a predator situation right there for poor Slothy. And if only he had been able to get the revive pistol off, it might have saved him because they could have at least played off a trade, but just a bit unfortunate right there at the end of it all. Yeah, so, if we want to, use your imagination, right? Have that slow-mo in your brain. So what happened was, I don't know if you noticed, but while Freak was, fighting over towards Library, he turned around for a second because he heard someone walk in the main door. So there's an attacker actively taking through main lobby that Freak couldn't see because he was already past his line of sight. When Freak died, I think Arial Arise were just kind of late on the rotations, or it was the fact that Oxygen guy pushing in main was so deep that Arial Arise couldn't account for it by the time they made the rotation. The alibi was already, of course, was already on the stairs, and as Traum walked out of games, that's when Vertical swung. And so Court's trying to kill the Lion, ended up just shooting his teammate because they lined up, and Vertical got both kills. So just unfortunate timing there from Arial Arise, and really you can kind of just pin the round on the fact that Vertical was able to get in there almost undetected and so quickly. Right, and that's one of the things that Oxygen does very well is they infiltrate in a spectacularly good fashion. Interesting, by the way, they're bringing the Richeros to bear. Flores is often banned on Chalet, and for good reason, and you're seeing it illustrated on screen right here. These Richeros just eat util alive. And no, it's already paid off because Tra is brought down by a frag grenade. And you can see the members of Arial Rise kind of showing their heels and backing up here, slowly but surely losing control of the map. Sweater now stepping up to the window near Piano, fires a couple of rounds in, won't find anyone though, so just continues to play off it. But I almost feel it like a pressure cooker building up, the pressure that's being applied here to the Arial Rise side. Look at the pinch that's been put on Psycho. Freak though, gonna let off some of that steam. Big kill on the Newers right there.
They're still getting pinched, though, and they've got to worry about their backside. The Zoe has not jumped in. Sweater's still playing on the windows. The swing comes out from Freak. Over-aggressive, I would say, especially with a UMP. Attempted trade from Psychosis, but he goes down too. Sweater giving his team a huge advantage. Now a 4 versus 2. Slothy going to try and fix it, but as his teammate falls and such low HP, this round's going to be tough for the Alibi. He got a couple kills in the previous round. Well, 1 kill and a down. He was almost able to make it work, but he was Doc. Now, as a low HP 3 speed, he stands no chance, and Sweater will collect 3 to give OXG a 2-0 lead.
Big round right there for Sweater. Did great job playing off the Piano window, and I talked about it at the start, the cutoffs, right? There's a really good example of a cutoff. That's not, I would say, a stereotypical one necessarily, because it's a little hard for an attacker to stay in that position and not be challenged in a lot of cases. But in that scenario, when there's really not a lot of moderating factor, Sweater is just happy to sit there and play off of that and enable kind of the pinches and the pushes that Oxygen needed to pick apart the Arial Rise defense. So not as heroic as last round. I mean, I'll give him the credit for, you know, getting the kill on Newers, but not able to really follow up a big money kill with anything too significant from the other side. And I was really hoping to see maybe a bit more of an answer to the Rateros coming out. If they came out again, we're going to miss out on it. Dream is swapping over to the Hibana. No mute, but they are picking up that Mozzie there. So presumably that's kind of an anticipatory pick in case they have to deal with that issue. But instead, a mix-up of the operators. I'm interested to see what they do. The Hibana, the gang coming in here, a good mixture to really allow them for a very aggressive push, which, as you said earlier, is something that Oxygen Esports loves to do.
I just feel so bad for them. This could be 1-1 right now.
It could be.
If they didn't have a poor rotation. Or if for some reason the slats between the bars didn't have a hitbox.
Yeah, that's
that
weird.
The stim pistol couldn't go through, you know, because it heals 200 HP. So Quartz would have been up with full, overhealed. And you know, they would have a really good fighting chance. But, you know, that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. I do think Arial Rise, though, are getting too over-aggressive against Oxygen. I understand the mentality of trying to hit them when they walk in, not giving them the free control that HK Rebels kind of did. But if you're not winning your fights and you're just kind of over-peeking into a held angle like that, it's not really going to do much. Newers on the cutoff gets the first kill, and the attackers are going to start to storm in. Yin Candela is going out. Foxay just in the middle of the site trying to hunt people down, but doesn't spot Slothy. Newers able to still have the man advantage for his team, though. The kill onto Freak. The Zoe of Psycho still sitting there on the stairs, though, stopping this Hibana from repelling in, but still the trades are being answered from OXG. They're retaining this man count and not giving anything to Arial.
Yeah, and they're holding tight to their defensive positions, and they're kind of letting Oxygen come to them a little bit more. Slothy's going to challenge, though, and this is where things tend to get a little bit scary, but no, nothing will come of it. Slothy retreating all the way back and going for the reload, a wise decision, I think, in that situation. And look where Sweater is, back in their natural environment there, holding that Piano window, and Slothy walks right back into it. That is just been turned into a gold mine here by Sweaters across these 2 rounds. Dream now happy to run in, and they've got bomb site control. I think they can effectively start planning, and they will.
I don't know why they're moving so much. Arial, maybe the reason why they're over peaking is that they're getting jittery. I don't know what it is. They didn't need to move. They had the cam and solar still up. The guy with the case is stuck on the windows. Why are you pushing out to peak office? Hold the cross with your Ella. Your Ella has the stairs. Hibana can't get in. And yet Arial Rise are moving when they don't need to, moving too late. It's something that we're not used to seeing from them, typically being a very grounded team.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just the new system. Psycho and Slothy and Tra still getting used to it, but I don't know. It's weird playing, and man, OXG are really making them pay.
Yeah, they're taking advantage of every weak spot and just kind of ripping it open so they can feast. And I mean, it's interesting. So often, right, you would think that the role of the defender is to kind of trap attackers, right? You want to lure them into spots where you can get the kills. That's not always how you have to play it, but it's a very effective way of doing it. And Arial Arise is kind of going the opposite way. They're almost allowing themselves to be baited into situations that are advantageous for Oxygen. Like what you just said, right? It was basically a self-enforced pitch on the side of the dock. I mean, they didn't need to challenge that window. They didn't need to back up the way that they did. It's just a little bit messy right there. And unfortunately, it's only a best of one, so you don't have a lot of time to tighten up these loose ends and to kind of adapt. And I think, I will say, Craw, I think the aggression would work against a team that was not Oxygen Esports. But if you're going to try and be aggressive against any squad, Oxygen is probably, at least in SCS, Oxygen is probably not the team that you want to be, trying to do that on, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, even when we were watching, Mr. B and his team, Reality TV, playing Astralis, they weren't getting... There were rounds where they got over aggressive and they got punished by Astralis, but they were learning their lesson, right?
Yeah.
Almost every time we saw Reality TV die to being, to over peaking, or Astralis getting aggressive when they didn't expect, Reality TV adjusted. And then when Reality TV did that, Astralis adjusted. It was the really cool back and forth, which is what made that game so great. But it looks like Arial are making these same mistakes now 2, even 3 rounds in a row. Now, hopefully this timeout's going to ground them again. They have a fantastic coaching staff in Smitty and Dauntless. So I'm hoping that they have a bounce back. And because we always say it, if you don't win the round right after a timeout, it's not great.
No, it's not. I mean, that's supposed to be your strategic consultation, go sit with the great sage and get your life in order sort of moment. And it's, it's not great. We'll keep it at the understatement for now. But I mean, the positioning that we're seeing from Arial Arise here, it's okay. I mean, they've got some good vertical presence, and I think that they can make some plays off of this, but please don't double stack onto those stairs. That's way too easy. And now Foxit knows where you are. I mean, if the man's got a FAMAS, he could challenge this. Instead, he'll get clipped a little bit and wisely back up the stairs. But it's Slothy who's down first. And already, I feel like Arial Arise is maybe under a little bit of pressure. Good job by Quartz trying to keep it even. But here comes Vertical. Look at that penetration from Vertical. He's done it again. The man's a magician.
Freak's got a little bit of a flank for nose, though. Since Freak just got a kill and he's only 1 HP. I think a lot of this round is gonna be up to Tra and Psycho. At the very least, Arial have some advantage in the fact that they have case control. OXG don't have it in pocket, but as Foxy gets another on the Psycho, Freak is taking this fight and losing it to Vertical, giving the Thatcher his 3rd kill of the game. Tra, oh, what a flick! Lands the head of Vert. Now they know where he is. Foxy is gonna drop in, assisting Newers. They still don't have case control, but what they can do is go for this pinch. You know where he's at. A lot of open crossfires for Tra to worry about. OXG have plenty of time to play with. I mean, they got a whole 50 seconds in a 1v2 like this already on site. That's like an eternity. Tra able to line up one, lights up. Newers goes for the second swing, finishes Fox. He's in the advantage. He's got the shotgun and he wins it through the wall. Newers leaving him on 1 HP, and Arial finally pick up a point.
What? I was thinking, sitting there as you were talking, I was like, my good God, there is nobody I would less want to be in a 1v2 with than Newers and Foxy. And he won!
The F2 and the AK-12.
Oh my God, it was like getting hunted by the Velociraptors in Jurassic Park. I thought he was doomed, and he pulls it off. And I mean, he does it so well. And I'll be honest with you, he actually had an opportunity to get those kills earlier on with the SMG-11. I don't think they knew where he was when he first swung out. I think they had a generalized idea, but just really well played, and a little bit of a misplay there with the sprint and whatnot. I mean, wow. You know what, Tron, that's a highlight reel, man. You take that home with you. You put that on a shelf, keep it forever, because those kind of moments aren't going to come very often.
10 seconds left.
Yeah, I'm still kind of worried, right? because like you said, right, it's a clutch. Can't rely on that to win every round.
No, you cannot.
1v3 from Tra, and it's the round right after the timeout. You had to win it off a 1v3.
Yep,
I'm
that's
worried.
valid.
I'm worried. That worries me almost as much as a loss. Because what is a clutch? A clutch is winning a round you were supposed to lose.
Yep.
So I'm still on edge for Arial. Yep. At the very least, I think we can say if they get one more round than, you know, average Chalet defensive half, but they're gonna have to show us more.
Yeah, I agree. Wins in desperation are not validation. Like, at the end of the day, it's just as simple as that, right? Like, good job that you clutched it. Don't count. It can't. It's a fluke. It's not a kind of thing that'll happen over and over again. So this is a really telling round now, I think, for Arial to Rise. Like you said, if they can pick up a W, this is really important for stabilizing their position. Freak's trying to get a couple of shots in there. Won't find it. Gotta watch that piano window. They've made a lot of hay off of that window across 2 rounds here, but Freak's position is getting less and less tenable by the second. You can see these members of Oxygen just slowly closing in. Dream's only going to make that worse when they decide to detonate those X-Kairos pellets, and there it is. Freak gets knocked off. It was only a matter of time, and almost like a glacial pace from Oxygen, all things considered, but like a glacier, pretty much unstoppable in the sense that they're just slowly wrapping up this verticality, and I think Psycho kind of knows it based on where he's fallen back to in Solarium to play out of here.
He's got some support from below. This is a nice angle from Quartz, and it almost catches Sweater, but he'll have to walk away with just damage on the Zofia. Unfortunately, the MP5 only does like 20 damage a shot, so there's no kill, but Tra does nab a freebie with the C4, killing Vertical. Currently the top fragger on OXG, but Sweater and Newers aren't far behind, so you can't breathe easy just yet if you're Arial. Slothy off-site now as Maestro, interestingly enough, as Tron Ports continue to try and hold on to West Main and Trophy. Tra coming under fire from above will prompt him to move, but he'll still stay in split. He wants to stay close, not give up control of Trophy just yet, as Dream dies to the Trophy player. Tra lands his second, and only now will he start to back out, considering that a palpable advantage. 38 seconds remaining for OXG. They're still on the top floor, and now Arial have been allowed to not only take the man advantage, but recollect themselves on the site.
And they've done a great job of that recollection. Sweater will pick up a kill, though, and that'll even it up. And you can feel the time ticking away. 20 seconds left on the clock. The 6th defender getting involved. And Oxygen, I mean, we know they can execute at a lightning-fast pace, but it's going to have to be some very quick lightning. Good kill from Newers there onto Psycho. Less than 10 seconds left in the round. It's going to have to be done on the back of kills, but Tra, again, he's waiting. He pulls up the SMG-11, but he won't find the kill onto Sweater. Slothy now with the Alda. The plant is down. They've just got to get the kills. They won't find it. So Oxygen pulling victory from the jaws of, if not quite defeat, a very stressful situation.
Tra played that so well. But again, where's his team?
Right.
Tra needs help. Arial are trying to take the fights off the floor holes. I mean, Quartz, it's gonna work once, right? You got Sweater lit up, but from that moment on, OXG are staring at those floorboards. And then why is Psycho in the basement? Like, okay, Slothy, Maestro, in bar, where you want to make sure they're not coming from lobby, whatever.
Rent's expensive, so you gotta go somewhere.
As soon as you see that OXG are playing the vert, they're going for trophy, like, I don't know. Maybe one guy bar is reasonable. I don't know why Psycho's in the basement. Because you allow them that cutoff. Newers had a freebie on the doorway because Psychosis left his teammate to rotate down West Main instead of sticking in the site where there were still safe spots to play. I mean, Sweater, the cutoff from Trophy, went out killing Tra because he hit a sprint, because he pressed his shift key in an execute, was 1 HP. The rounds are so doable from Arial. They're just not making the right plays consistently. And OXG are not a team you're going to get past. Like, I'm criticizing Arial a lot, but it's not to take anything away from OXG, because it still takes a good team to capitalize on the advantages your opponent's giving you. And like I said, OXG is not a team that's gonna not take that and run.
Right. I mean, it's a lot of just on the side of OXG. I think a lot of it is just taking space and controlling space. And Arial Arise has a tendency, I think, to give up a fair amount of space. I mean, you talk about somebody being down in the basement. That's a great example of it, right? And speaking of kind of giving up space, I mean, look at the setup that we've got here on Library. You've got a Wamai puck here to kind of slow it down. But I mean, often you don't see attacks taking this most direct route, but a team like Oxygen, I don't think they're going to be intimidated by the fact that somebody could be waiting there. Traw gets hurt bigly, but will stay alive. And here comes Dream with the Roteros again. And once more from the side of Arial Arise, no drone denial as Noors begins to creep forward. That's the easiest kill Noors has gotten in the last month at least. And here comes Noors again, pressuring the top of the stairs. Yep, he'll secure another one as well. That's Freak, who gets caught out in the prime defensive position, and that means verticality will soon be fully in the hands here. It's a valiant effort by Quartz to turn it around, but the trade is there from Sweater.
Well, and where's the communication?
Arial Arise apart.
And they don't expect someone in lobby in a 5-man library take. These are basics. These are fundamentals. Like... Noors is pushed all the way up library. There was a solid 5 seconds at minimum before Noors peaked that top blue. Where's the comms? Did Freak not hear it? Like what's going on? How do you not expect someone lobby when everyone's taking in through library? You almost always send someone lobby to pressure Chimney, or at the very least have someone playing bar door. And did they not have a Jaeger?
No, I don't think they did. They had a mine. They forsook the Jaeger, the Church of Jaeger. This is the end. The end.
I don't know what Arial are doing right now.
I don't know either, actually. And I mean, I defer to you because you're far more knowledgeable about both Arial Arise's players and just, you know, higher level playstyle than I am. But just kind of not very coordinated. Like you said, the comms are a little bit lacking. And I think if I had to fancy a guess, and this is my best guess, I think that they were a little off put by the fact that it was a library push. That's my best guess. And when the library push came in like that, I just don't necessarily think that Arial Arise, they should have been able to. I'm going to say that, but I don't think that they were quite able to adapt to that. And it all felt very hesitant as well. That's the other thing. Oxygen Esports, I spoke about it at the very start of this match, incredibly competent, right? Almost clinical in the way that they're attacking these sites. You feel it coming off of them. They're professionals. They know what they're doing. And it's almost like on the other side of the ball, Arial Arise is sort of sensing that and playing very hesitantly. Like you look at the way that Traw had to play that. You even look at the response of the Aruni up by, you know, Vines holding the top of Library Corridor. It's all very kind of hesitant and almost afraid. And I don't know if that's kind of what's happened. They're starting to get into their own heads, or they are just legitimately a little bit shell-shocked by this Oxygen Esports team. But this is not what I would expect from Arial Arise, even playing against really solid opponents. It's a little bit of a dud.
Yeah, I mean, Quartz, who went 10-2 yesterday, is 1-6. Psychosis is one death away from, you know, being Daniel Craig. I don't get it. I don't know what's happening to Arial, and Oxygen are just putting on... It's not like Oxygen are doing anything particularly, like, special or weird either. They're just playing really well and making Arial pay. Now, Vertical's gonna pay for his hubris, though, as he tries to make a little rat play possible. Psychosis gets his first kill, so no Sean Connery for us on Chalet. And finally, a man advantage for Arial. But they've had man advantages before. They have yet to capitalize on it. And, well, there's a lurking Foxay downstairs. He's one of the best Pulse players in NA. But with the way Arial have been playing, I'm really worried considering the communication skills of an NAL team and the fact that Sweater and Newers are the roamers upstairs.
It's a very one-sided push as well. And that's not necessarily a terrible thing, but it's something that could turn really disastrous quite quick, given the presence of the Pulse and just the intel that Pulse can provide. It's a good opportunity, actually, here from Slothy, because I don't think that they're going to be able to pick up on that Twitch drone all too fast. That'll let Quartz push forward right there. Foxy already has the C4 prepped. It comes over the top, not quite enough, but it will not get the exothermic charge. And they, oh no, it will at the very last second. Whoops. The impact grenade saving the day right there. They'll try it again. A much lower plant. The impact comes over, doesn't find it that time. And there's the opening into kitchen. So step sort of 2 here of the attack plan down. And now we get to see what Arial Arise does when they come over the top of their respective trenches and try and force this kitchen position.
What they don't have, though, is firm top floor control. And do they not have a cutoff either? The Lion's leaving. What? Hold on, let me look at the silhouettes. Okay, so there is a guy still upstairs. I think it's Slothy on the Twitch. He's going to be a big part of this attack because, or sorry, not Slothy, it's Freak. Because he needs to stop the defense from using the vert, but maybe the horizontal's all they need. Newers and Dream chime in. Newers, another kill. A nade goes in, damages Dream, but it's no kill. Dream, another, as he's tearing it up on the site. The perfect anchor. Traw's got to make something happen. Rushing him with the pistol, gets one. But Newers shuts him down. A buddy ace between the Frost and the Maestro. Newers coming off the roam to support his anchor. And Arial Arise are floundering.
Are we watching Battlefield 1? Because it looked like World War I out there. They all just piled into a gap in front of a machine gun. And, well, guess what happens when you all pile into a gap in front of a machine gun? I mean, you made a very good point about them not having vertical control. And usually what you would expect is you have some verticality right there. So if you do have a Maestro just set up with an Alda covering the breach, you can maybe try and shift him out of position or put him under pressure so he's not just free to fire. But it's almost like Arial Arise tried to skip that step. And that was the natural sort of suffering that was inflicted upon them. They all just funneled into that hole in the wall. And I mean, it's an easy day for Maestro. You're not going to get much better than that. You just chunk away with your LMG until they all stop moving. So not great from Arial Arise. What was that?
Hey, you got 80 bullets, dude.
You got 80. You don't have to reload. Just keep firing.
Normal weapons have what? 30? There's 5 people on the other team. 80 bullets. Right, 16 bullets is more than enough to kill. 16 a player before you run dry, plus 1 on someone because technically you have 81 if you attack reload. Oh my god! Wow,
match point already. I mean, what are you gonna do if you're on the side of Arial Arise here, Crow? I feel like your answers are few and far between at this point.
Yeah. Why did I do that?
You favor the underdog. It's okay.
Trolled myself. No, never mind. They trolled me. They're trolling me. Arial, do something. They'll try to do something against Newers, who's got a shield in the library door, so push far forward because he's Newers. He knows he can take these fights. Flashes start to go in, burning his utility. The nade comes out. Newers is going to fall back and not get the kill on the window player, but Freak does go down early thanks to the C4 of Foxay, still playing that pulse to a T, giving OXG an opening kill.
He didn't get the kill, but he did escape. He had, what, like 4 guns around him, 2 stun grenades going off right there. And he not only fell back, but he had enough confidence on the fallback to set up and try and get a kill in that mix as well. That's a hell of an angle, by the way, that Vertical's getting pinged from. But it's okay. He'll just fall back around the side of the piano as Arial Arise's chances of winning this round are going down by the second. It would take an absolute miracle performance for them to turn this one around. And I just don't know if they have it in the tank. It might be all out of miracle juice. Fox creeping up from the basement here, still on the pulse, so plenty of intel that could be garnered. They've got the default cam sitting there at the end of the library corridor as well. They're not watching the drone. Here comes Foxay. Walks right in, can't confirm the kill. He'll find it eventually onto Quartz, and now a 2v5.
Like, again, where's the comms? This guy's walking up blue! You are actively fighting him! They're just... The game's over. Just give Foxay the ace. Ah, god damn it. Alright, Slothy in a 1v3. 1 HP. Yeah, Fox, I'm sad too, buddy. I wanted the ace to close out the map. Like, oh my god. I don't care anymore. You had a drone! Okay, yeah, the Lion eventually turned around, right? Foxay was all the way walked up. And Quartz is just zooming in library. Alright, so 7-1. I remember yesterday.
Yeah,
I think it was. Yeah, Vipers played yesterday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Am I tripping? No, yeah, they lost to S2. I was right. And V made a point, right? V said something along the lines of, oh, hey, Vipers, yeah, they looked good in the game they played, but they were playing against a pug stack, so there's not a whole lot we can glean from their play against, better teams, I'll say, for lack of a better word. I guess the same thing applies to Arial. They 7-1 EQV4, right? That's all. That's all well and good. That's cool. But EQV4 are a pug stack who just lost 7-3 to Hong Kong Rebels. And I guess I shouldn't have gleaned that much from that win because Arial just got freaking stomped. Something, even then, they didn't. I'm going to scream. They just, like, something happened. Something unclipped.
Yeah.
Like Velcro being ripped. I like that. That's the sound that must have been playing in the comps for them to not be communicating enemy positions. Like just constant Velcro ripping. Because that's what was going on in my brain. Something has regressed because this is not Arial.
No.
Like, this is clearly not that. Something was wrong today. And I mean, leave it to a team like OXG to take perfect advantage of that. I mean, they played lights out. Nothing much to say.
Yeah. I mean, they were always going to play lights out, right? And that's the thing. And as much as the transitive property goes, that, are we reading too much into, this win? This is a good team. Arial Arise is a good team. And Oxygen, one of the best, let's say, in SCS right now. And Oxygen just that was a speed bump. I mean, they just wiped the floor with them. So does this just mean, we already all kind of thought it, but does this just reinforce the fact that Oxygen is just, they're gone, right? Like they're in a different stratosphere. I mean, that's not necessarily the takeaway that I would have had coming off of our last match where, we saw Astralis get upset, but now we saw, Oxygen come roaring back in for the honor of NAL and just kicked the ever-loving, suds out of the side of Arial Arise. So you're right, though. It just wasn't them. It was a weird day for them. And hey, bad days happen sometimes, right? It's just the way it goes.
Yeah, I didn't think I was saying this, but OXG are the only NAL team that haven't lost yet.
Yep.
I expected, maybe PB, being a little bit weaker and losing to S2, whatever. But I expected Astralis and OXG to be here together. But OXG, the last NAL team standing, and they're making a heck of a show. 12-4 for Newers, having another standout performance. Especially, this is a guy that went from T3 straight to T1. So he knows how to play in T1, and he knows how to play in T3. So keep looking at this guy to be a top performer all throughout SCS, and everyone was firing on all cylinders. I mean, Foxe 9-4, Sweater 7-3, Vert 7-4. It was like every single round, someone on OXG was being put into a position to completely open up the round. Not necessarily win it by themselves, but just take a like mountainous advantage. And when you're up against a team like OXG, you got Tra 9-7, cool. But no one else is up there with him. He's got to have someone else supporting. Yeah, so we're going to talk to a member of OXG, though. We have the one, the only, the Foxe for the interview. Yeah, there we go. All right. Fox, what's up?
Yeah, what's going on?
So, moving into this game, right? You beat HK Rebels last week, who I assume you didn't really have a lot of info. I mean, they're a T3 team, whatever. Moving into Arial being a T2 team and the second place T2 team, did you guys have any sort of specific game plan coming into this?
No specific game plan, just take them to a map that requires just team play, and we're a pro team, so I feel like naturally just teamwork should be better pro league to any other T2 T3. So
yeah, and going into, I mean, not just SCS, but the bigger grand scheme of things, SI, do you think you have a notable advantage over guys like Astralis and PB, considering you guys are sticking with the same roster?
Obviously teams that don't make roster changes are going to have more experience, and in a game like Siege, experience is key, but you can't take out the Cinderella effect when you make a new team. The vibes and everything just seem to work a lot better, so you never know. I mean, consistency or just like fresh talent, it's hard to counter strat people that just made a roster change, so I wouldn't say we have an advantage. I think it's fair game for every team going to SI.
Oh, that's a very good point. And after seeing reality TV, take that upset win 7-5 over Astralis, and then seeing this game, which was just a trouncing. I mean, I don't know if are you capable of putting into words really the gap between like NAL and CL, like what really sets the teams apart?
Honestly, I feel like the biggest thing that sets PL teams and CL teams apart is just like fundamentals and discipline, and there's not a lot of IGLs and CL that will be a hard ass, and if people are hard asses, sometimes they just get kicked off their team. So I feel like reality TV is a team, for example, I think everyone knows they got Mr. B. To on one end, to be an IGL, you have to be a hard ass sometimes. You have to, be the dude that can't let other people have fun. And obviously, they got a big win today. So, it's important for them. And I think that's the biggest change. And I think they're one of the only teams, I don't know everyone in CL like that. So I'd say they're one of the only teams, though, that is making that leap from like CL to PL. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely a fan of Reality TV's play, at least so far. And speaking of, I mean, did you expect to be the only NAL team who's still undefeated in a T3 league?
No, we didn't. I mean, I don't know. We didn't really expect to be the only team to be undefeated, but we know obviously the teams that are competing against us, they're going to be putting 120%. Not to say that we aren't trying, but we are obviously, trying new things and testing waters in certain areas. So we expect a lot of the teams to come in with intensity and want to beat us. So I'm not surprised that other Pro League teams are losing. If anything, it's just kind of do they really want it that bad? We went 0-5 in Pro League, last stage. So we technically are one step away from being a T3 team. So, we got to try every step of the way.
That's true. And of course, you guys are all, I don't want to say the cursed phrase, but you are saving stuff for, SI and beyond, because, every little VOD can give something to those international teams. But Fox, I don't think it needs to be said, but congrats on the win. We look forward to seeing more of you guys. Even if you're not pulling out all the stops, it's still a joy to watch you guys completely stomp on T3 teams. So with that being said, anything you want to say to the stream?
Support SCS, great stuff that they're doing here with new teams being able to get some type of competitive experience. And make sure to support the rest of the games. And shout out to Arial. Those guys are a good team in Challenger League. Thank you.
All right, sweet. We definitely appreciate it. Thank you very much, Fox. Have a good night. And that's that.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, you like to hear it from Foxy, to be honest. A very calm, very collected, very professional interview right there. Gave credit to his opponents, even after kind of an easy walkaway game from them as well. So yeah. I give him credit right there.
Because I certainly wouldn't have. That game made me angry. I also just realized how dark it is because my power flickered, my ring light didn't turn back on. So I bet I'm
technical issues are the day.
I'm in shadow,
brother. Don't worry about it. My microphone was just like, hey, I don't want to work no more, and it's
all good.
So yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, I thought my team speak was bugging out real quick there, but it was you. It was your fault. And you know who else's fault this whole league is? Ferme. Can we give a shout out to Ferme, by the way? I love that guy. I mean, so far, SCS, I don't know about you guys. I've been having a blast. The teams have been having a blast. I mean, I hope we have games like Reality TV versus Astralis and Wichita Wolves against Arial Rise Academy. I think those two have definitely been our standout games so far. And look out for more because we're not done. We have just finished round 2. And guess what? There's 5 rounds of Swiss. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's it for this week, though, but we will be back on the 6th, December 6th, I think, Tuesday the 6th, and it should start at 17 EST. I don't know if am I allowed to tease the next week's matches? Oh, he's going to show it in a second.
Yeah, it's being built.
Ooh, it's being built. Interesting.
Behind the scenes.
Let me look at it. Let me look at it all mysterious like and not reveal it to anyone. Wow.
Good stuff.
Oh crap!
Oh wow!
Yeah,
this is some good unseen matches.
There's only one game that I'm kind of disappointed that didn't happen. Drum roll, please. I'll do it in my mouth because Ferme has like a noise gate, so I don't think it would pick up if I banged on my desk. So I really wanted Reality TV versus OXG to happen. I was really gunning for it, but it might happen in playoffs, or if they both happen to lose. I don't think that's likely, though. S2 versus Reality TV. S2 having a bit of a Cinderella story, beating a Pro League team, beating a CL team, now going up against Reality TV. LG also pretty smooth sailing. Lycus came close, but then they just kind of made JJ look a bit foolish. They got their work cut out for them against OXG. And remember, those two games are BO3s because they're 2-0. So if they want to get promoted to playoffs, they have to win a BO3. Conversely, 4 teams at the bottom have to lose a BO3 to get eliminated. EQV4 Collegiate Connoisseurs, not to throw shade, but I don't think anyone didn't expect them to be down here in the 0-2 bracket. Like his Empire, this is their first real, big time league. So I don't blame them for being down there either. But IF is a surprising one considering the grand scheme of things. But looking at who they were up against, I think it makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's valid. I think that just getting here for EVQ and for Collegiate, that's like a big achievement for them, and they should be very proud of that. So I don't think they're necessarily surprised to be down there. Kind of fun to watch, I think, Arial Arise versus Arial Arise Academy. I would have said that would be quite a one-sided match,
that's
by the way.
That's going to be a funny one.
But based on how Arial Arise did tonight, they're going to have to recover some of their confidence. So maybe their Academy team is the victims that they need to beat up a little bit to bring them back. But those top series of games, those best of 3, I think they're going to be really fun. I think that S2 Reality TV game is going to be an absolute banger. I think those are both very hungry, very talented squads, and they're going to put on a really good show to kind of assert their dominance here among these T2 squads.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to, like you pointed out, Arial versus Arial Academy, and then PB versus Astralis. An NAL rematch. That's going to be exciting. So the way the scheduling for the format works, right? We know the BO3s that are going to be played, but we're going to finish the rounds of BO1 first, because after that, then every single game for the rest of the Swiss stage is all going to be BO3. So December 6th, same time as always, 6 p.m. start time, we will have those 4 matches in the middle, and we'll finish all our best of ones.
Go. It's going to be really exciting. I'm looking forward. I want everybody to tune back in. I think you saw the best of SCS here tonight in that Reality TV Astralis game. Was amazing, Rainbow Six Siege. So I hope everybody tunes back in and catches more of this, because it's only going up from here, folks. It really is.
Yeah, because BO3 is always better than BO1s. I would say, even though I think every single play day so far, we've had at least one really, really good game. It's like you said, it's only going to get better with the BO3s. So that concludes round 2. Thank you all for joining us, sticking with us. Thank you for the teams for giving us a great show. Thank you, Corbeck, for casting with me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Rounding out round 2, if I can be redundant there. So like I said, December 6th, mark your calendars, 6 p.m. We will begin the last set of best of ones. Once again, thank you for watching. I love you. Have a great night.